Hello, attorney Janine Meggett here. I haven't done one of these in a while, but I did want to answer a question that I received recently from a business owner who was asking about basically the benefit of having custom contracts. She has pretty much put in place, I believe she said, a couple of basic contracts that she used, standard templates that I'm sure she got probably from the internet or somewhere. I'm not too sure. I didn't ask, but her point was that she was clear that that was not enough. It was just something that she was trying to get a grasp on certain relationships utilizing these documents. So I wanted to just answer quickly, and I'm trying to stay concise because I could run over on these videos. But just quickly address the benefits of having a custom contract or one that is literally for your business and not a standard template. I do tell people it's better than nothing because, again, it does show there's a contractual relationship. But at the end of the day, when you want one that'll actually be upheld in court and that can actually avoid litigation, it being custom is obviously the best. Well, I shouldn't say obviously, it is the best option. And so to elaborate further on that, one, if you have a generic, clause, for example, that just says in a kind of a generic way that your IP is protected, let's say your intellectual property. If it doesn't outline what IP, what is being allowed, what is not being allowed. So, for example, every relationship is going to have a different purpose, right? You may be working with someone, whether it's, let's just say it's a brand deal, and you're working with someone to offer them X amount of posts. I'm going to use this for a brand sponsorship deal, for example. If you just have a generic one that says, I'm going to sponsor your product and you're going to pay me X, that's great, right? It shows as a contractual relationship. But if there were to be an issue with how much you're posting, what you're posting on, what you're responsible for tracking, or what they're responsible for tracking, if there are any kind of, qualifiers as far as what it has to reach or what you have to do or how often you have to do it, all of those things have to be customized. Unless, even if you do have as an influencer, for example, even if you do have, this is what I offer, right? I offer X and this is what I get in return. And you think I'll just have that standard document. Not every company is going to be okay with those terms. They may want to tweak it in the sense of, okay, we'll accept this, but we're going to, there's a condition or we need you to do it only on this time. So every relationship, no matter how targeted or niche your contracts are, they're still going to differ. So in order to protect yourself where there's no issues in the long run and or even if there's a dispute, right? A lot of times it may not get to the point of litigation, but there's the goal of settling, right? And coming to a common understanding. If it hasn't been outlined, especially when I say in writing, because if it's a conversation, that's probably led to where the confusion is now, right? A year later, 6 months later, two people are not on the same page, and it becomes, oh, well, you said this, you emailed me that, you text me this, you mentioned this at a meeting. All of that gets, basically, I'll say it gets communicated the way they intended at that time for you to be happy. But when things go left, those same intentions may not be there. And now it's like, okay, well, listen, this is what I own. This is all that I owed you, or this is all that you were supposed to do, or all I was supposed to do. And that is where that piece of paper is very important. And if it leaves out all of those nuances, the nuances are where the problems lie. The nuances are usually where people have issues down the line. It's not in the black and white, okay, I'm doing this, you're doing that. That's the high level. It's the stuff that comes in after, the did you completely meet my needs? Did you completely meet my expectations? And usually that's where people get upset. And if it's outlined at the very beginning what everyone's expectations are, what everyone's needs are, what everyone's intentions are, and it's outlined very specific, that is how you avoid litigation typically, because it's in that document. And that is how you also could avoid a business dispute or having a falling out with a company or a colleague, because it's like, listen, I'm following the contract. And if it's not in the contract, everybody's just going off of their own emotion and what their hopes are, especially when time has passed and things have changed, desires have changed, situations have changed, financial situations may have changed, and now people want to change their agreement terms. But if it's in writing, that cannot happen, at least not without an actual penalty or some kind of conflict resolution that is defined already. And it could avoid a whole lot of headache, a whole lot of relationship ruining, and potential court. So that's in my my summary of the importance of having a custom one. Of course, like I said, you want to have one that's generic. It is definitely better than nothing. I would not tell someone don't have a generic contract and just do everything in writing, because that's definitely everything verbally or everything, in this nonchalant expectation way, I definitely would not advise that. I would say having some type of documentation is definitely best. But the more generic, the less helpful it is when stuff hits the fan, if it hits the fan, and it could actually avoid things hitting the fan. And that's the real goal, right? For everybody to be harmonious and happy. So that's all I want to say about that. If you have any questions, you can always DM me. I am trying to be as available as possible to answer questions and or have consults. But definitely, if you have any contract questions, you have any contracts either in front of you or that you need to be revised, don't hesitate to hit me up. That's what I do.